For today's headlines, Interagency Task Force backs limited in-person classes. Hemorrhaging restaurants send SOS. Income opportunities for overseas Filipino workers seen. Siquijor Airport fully refurbished. National Grid Corporation of the Philippines can't digress from initial public offering path. Bongbong Marcos mulls joining the presidential race. Good morning, I am Venice Bautista and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Today is August 27, 2021 and here are the latest news of this Friday morning. The Pandemic Task Force will make another bid to convince President Rodrigo Duterte to allow the conduct of in-person classes in areas identified as low risk for COVID-19, Malacanang yesterday said. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said the Interagency Task Force on the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases has approved in principle 3 weeks ago the preparation of a presentation to discuss with the President the possible resumption of face-to-face classes. The palace official cannot tell yet when the matter shall be discussed by the President and the task force, but he said proposals may be presented to Duterte in September at least. During the Senate's Basic Education Committee hearing on Wednesday, officials from the Department of Education said the IATF MEID has already approved the agency's proposal on physical classes. However, they admitted the plan has not yet been presented to Duterte. The prolonged closure of classes in the country has infringed on the right to learn of more than 27 million Filipino students, according to the United Nations Children's Fund. It added that the Philippines is among only 5 countries in the world that have not resumed in-person classes since the COVID-19 outbreak last year, along with Bangladesh, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. Meanwhile, the Federation of Associations of Private Schools Administrators, through its president Eliazardo Casilag, urged the government to vaccinate first students before resuming face-to-face learning. Casilag noted that learning from home is the only best alternative at this time. He also expressed doubt that parents will allow their kids to be exposed to the virus at school. Restaurant owners will not get tired of asking the government to allow individuals vaccinated against COVID-19 to move around to help reopen the economy bludgeoned into stupor by the pandemic. The restaurant industry has already lost 2 to 4 billion pesos during the implementation of the enhanced community quarantine in Metro Manila, warned Resto PH President Eric Teng. During Daily Tribune's digital morning show Gising Na Thursday, Teng said they see further losses among restaurants even after ECQ, in effect from August 5 to 20, was de-escalated to modified ECQ until the end of the month. He ruled that restaurants are still barred from offering indoor and alfresco dining even during MECQ. Teng said their industry is the most affected by the lockdowns and the 10 to 20% operating capacity allowed them during less restrictive quarantine classifications. He said they haven't been given the go signal to operate at 50% of their seating capacity in the 18 months that the country has been experiencing lockdowns. While many of their members feel they are being singled out, Teng said they are one with the government in wanting to quickly effect economic recovery while stopping the spread of the virus. Teng maintained, though, that government should not always lean on lockdowns to clip the surging cases of COVID-19. He emphasized that the proposal is not intended to discriminate, but to save jobs and businesses, and that their group respects every Filipino's right to get vaccinated or not. The overseas Filipino workers has long been a symbol of the enduring values and enterprising spirit of the Filipino, and their persistent hard work to help support their families back home has done immeasurable good for the country. Consider how OFW contributions to our national offers could help mitigate the economic fallout from a raging pandemic. The latest figures from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reveal that overseas Filipino workers' cumulative cash remittances amounted to $16.616 billion in the first half of 2021 alone. However, one looks at it, OFW now numbering to 2.2 million are helping reboot the economy despite intermittent lockdowns. To show gratitude for their immense sacrifices, Golden Haven, a leading name in the death care industry, has launched Kabayan Rewards, a referral program that presents significant income opportunities to OFW worldwide. This encourages OFW to refer any number of their fellow Filipino workers to Golden Haven and spur them to invest in its wide array of products, memorial lots, columbarium vaults, family estates, and even professionally curated mausoleums called the Golden Shrines. Golden Haven's Kabayan Rewards grant dual benefits, an additional source of income for OFW that successfully refer new customers to Golden Haven, and find investment options for OFW seeking a stable and steady stream of income. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Fiber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Fiber now.
We are back on Tribune News on Q. Department of Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade led the inauguration of the completed and fully rehabilitated Siquijor Airport on Thursday in line with the Duterte administration's Build, Build, Build flagship program. Tugade was joined by Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines Director General Jim Sidionco, Siquijor Governor Zaldi S. Villa, Siquijor District Representative Jake Vincent S. Villa, Vice Governor May Ling Quezon Brown, Siquijor Municipal Mayor Richard Quezon, Maria Municipal Mayor Maynard Asok, and other local government officials. Tugade said that the way to making Filipino life convenient and comfortable is to create connectivity and mobility. It is for that reason why they are expanding our community airport and seaport. They want connectivity and mobility, which is the mandate of President Rodrigo Duterte. He added that the 34.79 million pesos project, which includes the construction of a new passenger terminal building, powerhouse, and vehicular parking area, started last March 1, 2018 and was fully completed last July 30, 2020. CAAP also completed the repair and maintenance of the airport's perimeter fence, construction of a concrete pathwalk, provision of runway, taxiway, and apron markings, and further improvement of the passenger terminal building's interior and exterior last August 21 this year, and it finished earlier than the target completion date. The Department of Transportation and CAAP also proposed more developments in Siquijor Airport, such as the extension and asphalt overlay of runway. Transmission network concessionaire National Grid Corporation of the Philippines will have to undertake an initial public offering as required in its franchise, since a backdoor listing through its holding firm will not suffice. In a report to the Philippine Stock Exchange on Thursday, Synergy Grid and Development Philippines Incorporated said the Energy Regulatory Commission has maintained the 6-month extension given to NGCP to complete the IPO process, and the period will end on November 14. In an order dated August 11 and promulgated on August 20, the ERC said NGCP's compliance with the dispersal of ownership requirement will be determined based on Section 8 of Republic Act 9511. The ERC, however, clarified that the order should not be taken as allowing or prohibiting any mode of ownership dispersal allowed under the law to be undertaken by NGCP, as this was not made an issue in the entire proceedings. RA 9511, signed in 2008, stated that the company has to sell at least 20% of its outstanding capital stock within 10 years from the start of operations. NGCP holds a 25-year franchise to solely operate the transmission assets of the government. As of the first half of the year, NGCP operates 20,732 circuit kilometers of transmission line and 41,696 average megawatts of substation capacity. From 2021 to 2025, NGCP committed spending 160 billion pesos to support the load growth and maintain the system and power reliability. Of the amount, 37.6 billion pesos was approved by ERC as NGCP's total capital expenditures budget in 2022. Former Senator and defeated Vice Presidential bet Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. is mulling to join the presidential race in the 2022 May elections, his sister, Senator Amy Marcos, said on Thursday. Bongbong, who lost his electoral protest against Vice President Leni Robredo earlier this year, reportedly aired his intention to run for any national positions in the next year's elections. His sister, however, clarified that he has yet to make a final decision whether he will run for president, vice president, or senator. Bongbong Marcos is being considered as possible running mate of Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio if she decides to run for the country's highest post in 2022. A photo of the Marcoses visiting the local chief executive in her hometown in Davao City in May first fueled speculations of a possible Duterte-Marcos tandem. Tribune News on Q will be back after this. Stay with us.
It's time for the world to know. Outstanding Filipinos in America. The 11th Outstanding Filipinos in America Awards 2021. A salute to the heroes of coronavirus. Coming back live in person at the Carnegie Hall in New York City. Home of the TOFA Awards since 2011.
You are still watching Tribune News on Q. And now for our field report, here is Vernon Velasco. Good morning, Vernon.
Good morning, Denise. So the government has approved of granular lockdown as a viable alternative to regional lockdowns, the Interior Department said Friday. Granular means the lockdown will be limited to micro-quarantines at the scale of subdivisions, households, and at most barangays. People in communities under granular lockdown will not be permitted to leave quarantine premises, even authorized persons outside of residence or medical frontliners. In an interview over the newspaper's online radio and TV program Gisigna, DILG Undersecretary Jonathan Malaya said the economy can no longer take the stress that comes from previous quarantine classifications and said that while granular lockdowns have more draconian measures, it does less harm to an economy that reels from the effects of region-wide closures. Malaya said government efforts to assist those who will be affected by granular lockdowns shall begin in earnest, initiated by local government units, which have quick response funds, and reinforced by the national government through the Social Welfare Department. I am Vernon Velasco for NOC.
Thank you for that, Vernon. And that wraps up the stories this morning. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, the Department of Tourism, Araneta Center, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, and Overseas Community Affairs Council member Alan Lin of Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Venice Bautista, and you are watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good morning.
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.